Welcome to the Brave Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Lynn, founder of Sistership Circle and author of Open Your Heart and The Art of Leading Circle. I'm the mother of 2 girls, an 8 on the Enneagram, aka the Challenger, happily married to my business partner, Brent, love connecting with nature, and have put in well over 10,000 hours circling with other women. On this podcast, we will explore how to embody the brave woman so that you can take action on your dreams and desires, unapologetically speak your truth, and live life on your own terms. Grab a seat and a cup of tea, and let's get started. I am so excited about today's episode because we're going to go deep, and that is my favorite thing to do. So if you like to hang out in the deep end of the pool, then this is definitely an episode for you. Now, there's something that I like to say, and that is that there is a difference between beautiful sister gatherings and phenomenal paradigm shifting group transformational work in a circle container, right? So can you feel the difference between that? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with beautiful sister gatherings. In fact, I just went to one this week. It was a beautiful singing circle, and just like warmed my heart and felt so invigorated afterwards. Like there is power and there is still transformation that happens there. And that is the work that we do here at Sistership Circle, is we create these beautiful sister gatherings so that women can have this new experience of what is possible in sisterhood, right? Like it doesn't have to be catty. It doesn't have to be competitive. It doesn't have to be women tearing each other down. We can support each other. We can celebrate each other. We can have these beautiful, loving relationships with one another, right? Like that is the world of beautiful sister gatherings. And then there is this deep, deep women's work where we are penetrating below the surface and we are going into the real depths of where we have been programmed by patriarchy, where we are hiding ourselves, where we're dimming our light, right? And this deep work is where the rage comes out. It's where the grief floodgate opens, right? Like it's where we have to really do some holding, and we're going into some of the traumas that women have experienced just from living in our society, right? Because it's not necessarily safe for women. Most women don't feel safe in this world, and it's been for a really long time. And we don't need to go into the history of that today, but you can see how when we have these deep, deep containers to go into the shadows, to heal the mother wound, the father wound, the sister wound, the witch wound, right? Like we're not going to do that at the singing circle. And so as we create these training containers to train women how to lead these deep spaces, it's like, what are the skills? What are the things that we need to cultivate and develop and learn in order to really hold that container, right? And so when I look at my own journey, I've learned facilitation skills. I've learned through the practice of being in circles. But I would say that in order for me to be the woman, to be the leader, it comes down to the inner work. And in particular, mastering these 13 distinctions. And when I say mastering, I'm still a student, because any master will tell you that there's still more to learn. There's still more to refine, right? Because the master is a perpetual student, really, the student of life. And so when we're talking about mastery here, it's about 10,000 hours, and there's still more to learn and to practice and to cultivate. And there's going to be moments, because we are human, when we make mistakes, when we lose track of who we are, right? Like, this is what it means to be a human. We get messy. We're always going to get messy. That's never going to change. Life is going to always be messy. It's never going to be perfect. And that's part of what I'm going to be talking about here. In one of the distinctions is, how do we then cultivate that? So instead of going into how to facilitate these spaces, I think what is really, really critical is understanding who you need to be if these are the type of spaces that you're wanting to lead. And so these 13 distinctions come from my own experience of what I have cultivated within myself, and that I've received feedback from my students, in particular my mastery students, on what they've really learned from me. And like, I've asked them to highlight the things that really stood out in the trainings. So if you're ready, you can download this sheet if you go to the show notes, where you'll have all 13 listed out. Number 1 is speak what's unspoken. So what do I mean by speak what's unspoken? When we are in a group, and especially when we're in a group doing transformational work, there's all kinds of stuff coming up. There's all kinds of energies in the space. There's all kinds of resistance that arises. There's sometimes things feel really heavy because we're, right on the cups of a big transformation. And there's this thing called perturbation, where it's like a pot of boiling water, right? That when it gets to that boiling point, then the steam starts to come out, right? And right before that point, the boiling point, it's really uncomfortable if we think about within ourselves what's happening, right? So when you are in the group space as a leader, you want to know what is going on, what is not being said, and what is going on, and to be able to feel that and to notice it and to recognize it for what it is. Because you've seen so many groups go through the transformational process, you now can spot it when there's something that's being unsaid. And as the leader, it's up to you to call it out. We can teach the group to call it out themselves, right? And this is where at Sistership Circle we have the withhold tool. When there is a withhold, which is any energy, negative or positive, that's not being expressed, people can still feel it. We are very attuned to each other, especially when we start to be in the same space a lot. It's like my husband will be like, all right, what happened? I'm feeling you right now, That's what I mean by calling out and speaking what's unspoken. And we can't rely on the group necessarily to do that. We can train them, but it's really up to us as the leader, as the one with more experience and the one who's holding the container, to speak it. So withholds, for example, sometimes we have to pull them out of people. We can't wait for them to share their own withhold because they might be covering it up for a number of reasons. One, they're afraid of getting kicked out of the group. They're afraid of rocking the container. They're afraid of being ostracized. Like, there's all kinds of reasons of why we don't want to share these withholds that come up for us. But this is how we bring the group back into love and affinity. This is how we have the breakthrough moments, right? So when something's feeling off and you're feeling it, because you're feeling in a body, how quickly can you call it out? That's speaking what's unspoken. This takes practice. This takes time. And it also requires you, and here's the feminine leadership piece. Can you trust your own intuition and your voice? Because the only thing that's going to stop you from speaking the unspoken is doubting this feeling that you're experiencing in your body, and doubting that what you have to say matters or that it will be heard, right? So we have to work on that within ourselves. We have to heal that part of ourselves that has been conditioned to not trust ourselves, to not trust our intuition, and to not trust our voice. All the times as a child when you were told to keep your mouth shut, or when you spoke up as a child and it was put down, or it was minimized, or it was dismissed, right? So this is such a critical one and requires some really deep work that you've got to do. Number 2, bravery creates safety. There is a difference between safe space and playing it safe. Playing it safe is where we are protecting our beautiful little egos from getting hurt. And our egos just want us to survive, right? Sometimes speaking up can get us in trouble, can get us in danger. So we play it safe and we stay small to avoid getting in trouble or getting hurt. But at Sistership Circle, we talk about the brave circle, and this is the Brave podcast. Bold, responsible, authentic, vulnerable, and empathetic. When this becomes your mantra as a leader, I am a brave leader, and I'm going to take risks. One of the biggest risks that you take is by going first. You have to model. You have to be the one who puts their neck out there and says the thing, or gets vulnerable, or does the exercise first when it feels really uncomfortable for everyone else, right? By doing that, you are automatically creating safety for others. It's like if we're all at a lake and we don't know what's in the lake. It's not safe to go in the lake. If you are the leader and you're the first to jump in and you go down to the bottom and you feel the bottom and you're not getting eaten by any lake monster, and you come up and you say, hey, okay, it's good. Nothing's eating me. Okay, the lake's safe. I can jump in. So you give everyone else permission to step into their bravery, and you create the safety when you're brave. And this takes something, right, of where you have to cultivate that courage within yourself to go first, to make a fool out of yourself, to get messy, to not have your shit together all the time, right? The third one is to trust the circle medicine. This we say over and over and over and over and over again. We have to keep reminding each other, and we have to keep letting the circle know that there is something happening within the container that is beyond any of us, little humans, right? There's something very powerful at work when we step into the container, when we create that safe and sacred space, when we call in the spirit of the circle, we then have to trust that. Now, what does that look like? That looks like the circle's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. It's going to get messy. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to have triggers, because that's what happens, right? When we are calling in real and authentic sisterhood, when we are calling in healing, all that's not that needs to surface in order for us to experience the thing that we want to experience. In other words, if we want to experience real and authentic sisterhood with one another, we have to look at everything that's in the way of us having that, all of the sister wounds. We have to trust that the container will hold us in order to look at those sister wounds and heal them together. And that whatever happens in the space is exactly the thing that's supposed to happen in the space. There's no mistake. There's no, this circle's not right for me, because each woman is a mirror of each other. Each woman is mirroring each other's lightness and darkness. So one of the things we do in our How to Lead Circle program is we co-lead. Something that happens is that a sister doesn't show up to co-lead. Now, the sister who did show up can be really, really upset about that. And that's okay. We want to feel our feelings. We want to allow ourselves and not cover that up. But then we want to get to, why is this happening for me? This isn't happening to me, it's happening for me, for a reason. Can I trust the circle medicine that she didn't show up actually for my benefit and for my leadership training? When we shift to that, we can really get the message. We can really get the medicine for ourselves. If we stay stuck in the trigger and get stuck in the this is happening to me, and we become victim to that, and we continue to stay mad and energetically beat up our sister who didn't show up, we're missing something. We're missing the opportunity to grow, to heal, to transform. Because that's what happens in the circle space. Number 4, show up in your mess to deliver the message. Okay, so this is a tough one, and yet it's so important. Our mess can be our message when we allow it to be. So when we are feeling vulnerable, when we have something coming up, because it's going to come up. I've been leading circles for a very long time, and I am still messy. There are still times when I come in feeling very vulnerable, because the circle medicine's working me as the leader just as much as to all the participants as well. Because I am in the circle. I'm not separate from it. I'm not a guru, right? So it's not for me to come in and throw up all over the group with my mess. But the mastery here is, can I feel my mess? Can I feel my vulnerability? Can I express it? And can I keep in the back of my mind that to trust the circle medicine? And can I actually take myself through it, all the way through it, to come out and see what the message is for the group? So if it's happening for me as the leader, chances are it's happening within the group space as medicine. Can I see that? Can I take myself through the process of discovering that? Well, that takes some mastery, right? Because I got to pull myself through. I got to first express it. I got to first feel it. And then I got to pull myself all the way through it so that I'm no longer like stuck in it and I can actually come up above it and be able to then say, oh, okay, here's the message here. This is powerful, powerful work. And we have to know as leaders how to navigate the mess. If we're avoiding the mess, if we're afraid to get messy, we're never going to get the experience. We're always avoiding the experience. And so what's going to happen? Well, we're not going to know how to get the message out of it, right? So we got to feel more comfortable navigating the mess. We're going to go into a different distinction that goes further into that. Number 5, remove the mask for greater intimacy. So what is intimacy? Into me see. When I first started out, I had a big mask up. And my mask was, I am the strong leader and I've got it all together. And I kept myself separated. And I still do this. I wouldn't say that I'm, this is part of my personality, right? This comes up, it shows up every once in a while, and I have the impenetrable wall up, right? But what I learned at the very beginning of my journey back in, I think it was 2012 or 2011, something like that, I showed up on a leadership call and I just fell apart and I started crying. And one of the women said, "Oh my God, Tanya, you're human!" Because I had finally taken off the mask. "Oh my God, I feel so connected to you." It changed everything. Everything. When they saw that I wasn't perfect or trying to be perfect, because they could see right through it, right? Because no one's perfect. When I removed the mask and I allowed them to see me, truly see me, and hold me in that, there was an intimacy that I had never reached before. Now, for me, this is scary because I tend to energetically merge with people. And when I merge, I lose myself. And that feels really scary. And so I put that wall up to protect myself from that scary place of merging and losing myself. So I use that wall as a hard boundary. So the key here, for me, the constant work is around boundaries. For me to take off the mask, I need to learn how to set healthy boundaries, healthy and loving boundaries. And the more that I master that, the easier it is for me to keep the mask off, to not have the hard boundary of the impenetrable wall. And then that's when we can connect. And that's what Circle's all about, right? Number 6, the body doesn't lie. Oh, well, this has 2 different meanings. The first is from a trauma perspective of you might be saying, "I'm fine," but your body's saying something completely different. So one of the things about becoming a masterful facilitator is becoming trauma informed. And when you're trauma informed, then you can really read the body, these clues that the body gives that, no, they're not fine. So that is really, really critical, is actually being able to read body language in that way and to really trust that someone's body is responding in a certain way because there's a trauma there. And then there's also the perspective of the body doesn't lie in being able to trust your body's intuition, trusting your inner wisdom. And so when your body is feeling something, are you paying attention to that? A lot of times we want to stuff that down, we want to ignore it, we want to be this clear channel versus really listening to the clues. My heart's racing. Ew, I'm feeling this thing in my belly. Oh, God, my head hurts. Right? So when these things come up in the group space, we're picking up on something in the field. So then the next step is, well, okay, so how do I respond to that? What do I do? Well, go back to distinction number 1. Speak what's unspoken. Okay, I'm feeling a little heaviness in the space. Right? Is anyone else feeling this? That's always a good way to start to shift that energy. Or, oh, yeah, I'm feeling like a lot of tightness. Maybe we should get up and move our bodies. Right? And then we can shift out of that. But I'm speaking what's unspoken. And it might be me doing the hiding, right? Or it might be in the space, right? Like it's all connected. Number 7, restore integrity through the agreements. The agreements are your number 1 tool for holding safe space in a container. The agreements are everything. And when the container starts to feel wobbly and women aren't showing up, or they're late, or they're this, or they're that, and you can feel kind of this like squirrely energy, you bring it back to the agreements. What is out? What is off? What agreement has been broken? And when we restore the integrity of that, we solidify our container. It's like we all of a sudden have these little leaks and all the water's running out, right? We're sealing up all those leaks with each agreement and getting back to, like honoring those agreements. Number 8, the circle is a mirror of you. So this really goes into some of these other ones like trusting the circle medicine and bravery creates safety. So you're not separate from the circle ever. And when you're noticing something happening in the circle, it's not a them to blame. They're doing this. The circle is XYZ. No, it's you. This is so important because this means that you can always look within for the answers. Whatever is happening out there is what's going on within you. So what do you need to clean up within yourself? What needs to shift within you to shift the energy in the space? I love this one because it's empowering. It's not designed to be a burden. It allows me to really truly see myself. This is some radical truth telling and truth seeing. Is whatever these women are reflecting back to me is who I am. And sometimes that can be really, really uncomfortable. We sometimes don't want to look at ourselves. We don't want to, we don't want those reflections because they might be uncomfortable. And that leads us to number 9, which is to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Circle is not designed to be comfortable. If we're playing in a brave circle, it's going to be uncomfortable. And if we're creating a transformational circle where we're going in to heal old wounds, mother wound, father wound, sister wounds, witch wound, those are some really uncomfortable places. So the choice is yours. Are you going to resist it, or are you going to embrace it? So this is all about expanding your capacity. If your capacity is like this, right, then anything feels like really pokey. But the more that you're expanding your capacity out, okay, I can hold this more. I can actually be with these triggers. I can, okay, I can lean into this, right? Now, one of the ways that I've cultivated this within myself is Vipassana. Vipassana is a 10-day silent meditation that was taught by Goenka from the Buddha. And it was told to Goenka that 2,500 years after the Buddha, it would come back to everyone, and that Goenka was really the one to bring it back. And it's all about equanimity. No matter what sensations I'm having in the body, can I be with it? Can I actually stay equanimous? Which means I'm not going to react. If I'm too hot or too cold, I'm zen, right? Like I'm just holding, observing it, not reacting, right? So whatever triggers are coming towards me, or emotions are coming towards me, I'm equanimous, right? And when we do that, we then keep expanding our capacity to be with deeper, heavier, more triggering emotions and situations, right? So that's what I mean by being comfortable in the uncomfortable. And that takes practice. And you don't need to go to Vipassana. You could just start working with the sensations in your body when you're sitting in circle. Can I be with this tightness in my throat? Can I be with this sickening feeling in my belly? Can I observe it? Can I get curious about it? That's how we become more comfortable with it. Number 10, listen for greatness. Your listening as a leader, the way in which you listen to others is so critical. So critical. When people feel really, truly heard, there's magic that happens. So learning how to listen is one of the key skills that you need to learn as a leader, as a facilitator. And there's a way in which we listen as leaders if we want to empower and inspire others, is we listen for their greatness. Think of it this way. If you were a little kid and your kindergarten teacher constantly told you how dumb you were, would literally hit you upside the head every time you made a mistake, would you have confidence? Would you think that you were going to live up to be anyone? No. You would start to believe that you were dumb, and you would continue to dim your light. Now, let's say that same teacher constantly encouraged her students, told them how brilliant they were, and would encourage them to, fully express themselves and all of that. They would build a lot of confidence. So one of the things that I have learned over the years is sometimes we can't see ourselves clearly because we had that teacher. because that's how our mother or our father treated us as a kid. We forgot who we were. We forgot our dreams. We forgot our visions. We're playing small. And so when I listen to the women in the circle for their greatness, for their brilliance, and I reflect that back at them, they get to see their light. They get to see their beauty. They get to see their brilliance. That's what I mean by listen for greatness. And number 11 is expand your capacity to hold it all. And what I mean by all is the full spectrum of what it means to be a human, which means that we're not just holding space for the good times. We're creating permission, especially in transformational containers, to go way deep down into the dark and feel the grief and feel the rage and feel the frustration and feel all those really uncomfortable emotions. The full range. And when we can feel that within ourselves and we can actually feel our feelings fully, and we can go into the darkness, that's how we expand that container. That's how we expand our capacity. This goes very much with number 9, which is be comfortable in the uncomfortable. So this is also a piece around like being able to hold space for more people, to expand the size of the group, is it's an energetic thing within yourself. Because if there's any part of you that feels like, I can't handle this, it's too much for me, and chances are you think that you're too much, and there's a part of you that is putting a lid on something because it feels like it's too much, and you were taught that as a kid. This is where we want to expand. Number 12 goes very much with some of the others. And the circle's a mirror of you. Number 12 is take radical responsibility. Radical responsibility. Responsibility. I respond instead of react. Responsibility is, it's 100% on me. Now, this is really, really triggering and hard to wrap your head around sometimes. I've heard this feedback a lot of like, no, that lets them completely off the hook, right? Or, if I'm taking 100% responsibility, then, then they could be victims. No. If I'm being 100% responsible for myself, my actions, my words, my beliefs, and the world in which I create, and we're all mirrors, guess what starts to happen? They then take 100% responsibility for themselves, their thoughts, their beliefs, their words, their actions, their world. So many times this happens in my marriage. I want my husband to take responsibility. And I'm pointing my finger at him, take responsibility. And I'm not looking at myself. I take a step back. Where am I 100% responsible for this? What is he mirroring within me? Got it. And then I share, this is where I'm responsible, blah, 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 blah. Guess what he does? You're totally right. I'm sorry. This is where I'm responsible. He mirrors it right back to me. It's freaking brilliant. I love this distinction because it puts the power back in me. And when I'm empowered, I create the space for others to also be empowered. And I make responsibility the choice that they want to make. And this really sums up so many of these other distinctions of where we're mirroring each other, and where we really, show up in our mess, and the body doesn't lie, and all these things. Can I fully own it? My word creates my world. My word creates my world. Your word creates your world. And we just have these different perspectives of the world in which we live. And it becomes really fascinating when we see that we really truly can create exactly what we want, because we're already creating it, all through our perceptions. Number 13 is to lead by imperfect, inspired action. So the more that I embrace my mess, the more I feel comfortable with my imperfections. And I'm no longer chasing perfection, and I'm no longer ever believing that I'm going to be perfect, and I'm allowing myself to just be me. There's a deep self-acceptance that happens. And from that place of fully accepting myself and believing in my vision and feeling aligned, energetically aligned, that is coming from an inspired place, I take action from that place. And that's what it means to really, truly show up. I show up imperfectly, and I find my inspiration in that. I don't wait for it to be perfect. I don't wait for the inspiration to come through me. It actually happens through the action. So, which of these 13 really resonates for you? We invite you to tune in with our Facebook group. And we actually have a post, I'm going to put it in the show notes, that you can go and tag which one you love the most, which one's resonating with you, which ones you want to work on, and invite you to start practicing these distinctions in your life and to come join us to practice them with us.
The Brave Woman podcast is brought to you by Sistership Circle, a worldwide organization that offers leadership training for women to start their own women's circles. Do you feel called to start a women's circle, or are you currently leading one and want to make it even better? Jean Shinoda Bolin, author of The Millionth Circle, said that the opposite of patriarchy is circle, and the tipping point for change is when we have 1 million circles on the planet. It's true. When women gather, magic happens. Women's circles are the new yoga, with stars like Jennifer Aniston coming out publicly that she's been in a women's circle for years. If you've been wanting to start a circle to bring women together in your community because you desire connection and a place to belong, or you have an existing business and want to create more community around you, then Sistership Circle has a free book for you to get started. This book will simplify the process and inspire you to get out there and put your circles on the map. To get started today, go to sistershipcircle.com/podcast-book. You'll see the clickable link at the bottom of this episode's show notes. And now, on to our show.
Up next, I'm interviewing a dear sister who also has a passion for the depths. So if you are a coach who wants to bring more integrity to your practice and increase your referrals, tune in to episode 46.